Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is your boy Say One History on the Awaken Show. Um, I cannot go to sleep tonight, so what I ended up doing is just taking my camera outside, getting some video shots of the moon here, and I caught a few things flying around the moon. Most just birds, but at the end there were some things that I couldn't readily identify here. So I wanted to actually go ahead and do a live footage, live video, live shoot. You guys can ask me any questions that you want. And just basically go over the footage that I recorded tonight live with you guys of the moon. And just ask away. So with that being said, I'm just going to actually go ahead and play some footage. And you'll hear me in the background, obviously, but we'll start from here. So let's check it out. So again, this is just footage of the moon. I actually caught some things flying around it. This is actually tonight. And I have this attached to my EXTL telescope, and I have my Nikon camera that's actually hooked up to the telescope here. And I like doing it this particular way with the Nikon camera rather than the ZWO camera hooked up to the telescope, because when you use a ZWO, you have to actually hook it up to a computer. And if the computer is lagging, or you have too many things up, or there's just not enough memory here, then you'll get really slow speeds and you'll get lagging, and you might potentially miss something that may fly across the screen here. So I just try to make sure that when I actually film the moon from this point forward, that I'm actually going to start using my Nikon. And for you guys that have actually been with me since the beginning, you know this is how I started off, and I just happened to actually hook my Canon camera up to a telescope and start looking at the moon and start catching some weird things. So I wanted to kind of get back to that a little bit and start focusing on the moon and just kind of seeing what we can find, seeing what's out there, seeing what's going on here. And that's what I actually did tonight. So excuse me, everything normal as can be right now, but as we start to get later on into the footage here, you'll start to notice some weird things flying by. I think like the first couple of things you'll see, what I look at as more than likely just birds here, nothing spectacular. Hey, so I'm actually just gonna start taking comments on or just kind of like going over some of the comments that you guys are leaving. I actually did a video on that. It was my latest video. You can actually go ahead and check it out. A lot of people are already saying that it was skydivers with flares on their boots, and I've seen this before. I actually did a video on one that was in Texas, and you know, it could very well be skydivers here. I always like to ask my viewers here what they think. In this particular case, I mean, I don't know. When I looked at the footage, I have to say, just kind of looking over it, it didn't look like that was the case as far as skydivers, you know, with flares on their boots or whatnot, because as in my opinion, you would actually see these things or see these people descending from the sky, and these flares that were supposedly attached to their boots were not descending. They were staying stationary in the sky for a very long period of time. And in my mind, you would think that as these people were falling, you would at least be able to see a pretty good distance that they actually traveled while they were free falling in the sky. But I didn't see that. So, the jury's still out for me. So if you want to go ahead and check that video out, definitely let me know. But good question. Thank you for asking, Tuantoro. So I don't know. Check the video out. Let me know what you think on that, man. But pretty weird. So I believe we are just about a little bit past 1 minute in. And I think what's going to happen around the 3-minute marker here, as far as the video is concerned, we're going to get some action. And this is all pre-recorded. I literally just came in the house from pre-recording this. And maybe outside for maybe like an hour or two. And it's kind of up in the air, man. I mean, because sometimes you'll get some really interesting things, and then other times it's just kind of like a dead night. And I think this was kind of somewhere in the middle here. But I do always like to post these up. This way I can actually go over it with not just my eyes, but a lot of you guys here to kind of see if I missed anything here. So that's essentially what I'm doing now, because sometimes I do miss things, and you guys will point them out to me and say, hey, did you see that fly across the screen, or zoom in on that here? So that's what we're doing today. So definitely check it out. I looked at this before I posted it up, maybe like once or twice here. So definitely could have missed something. I agree. I think that's something that I will actually do in the future. I understand people have a healthy degree of skepticism, and I agree with them. I agree that you should have a healthy degree of skepticism, because there are a lot of people out there that are just kind of joking around and want to get their likes up and want to get their videos out there, so they'll make these videos up here. But I also believe that you have to look at the full scope. You have to look at the footage all the way through, and then on top of that, you have to do the research. You have to actually look into it, and that's what I kind of did before I posted this up. That's why I waited so long before I actually posted it. And in my last one, I did the same thing too, but I actually did a search to see where these supposed skydivers were actually doing their drop from. And I found it very coincidental that it was around a military base. So a lot of times what we'll see, and this is just in my opinion, some kind of test for some military vehicle or some military aircraft that they haven't told us about yet. That's, at least in my opinion, what I think we're seeing. And a lot of people will just say, hey, no, this is nonsense. It's not an EBT or an EVT, EBT. And it's not a military aircraft here. It's just something very explainable, and I don't think that's the case with all of them. So I don't know. So I think this is where we are going to start seeing some things here. So we'll see. I'll kind of be quiet a little bit. And if you hear that waiting to connect in the background, that's my camera that came disconnected in my front yard for whatever reason. So I didn't actually connect it before I started filming. So it gets pretty annoying here. Okay, so there's one, and I don't know if you guys could see that one or not, but it kind of came from the right hand side at a lower angle. That one was a weird one. Yeah, that's very true. I mean, if one of these stories, I mean, if you just think about the Ringleton Air Force Base, I mean, it's a done deal. I mean, Roswell is another one. We can look at the stuff going on with Bob Lazar, stuff that he caught on film. It's just too many to count, man. I mean, I've seen some pretty strange things, you know, being in the military, at Fort Bliss, you know, coming out of the chow hall one night, and just these two lights. I wouldn't call them lights. Actually, they were two objects, one red and one blue, literally just dancing in the sky with each other. And when I asked my drill sergeant what it was, he just literally told me to keep my eyes forward, private, and that was that. And at this time I was in boot camp, so you couldn't really say too much to your drill sergeant, if you know what I mean. So the telescope that I'm actually using is the ETX. It's the ETX 80, and it's actually hooked up to my Nikon. And my Nikon is the D5600 Nikon that I actually have hooked up to the sky here. And I'll use that same camera, and I have it set up to hook up to a night vision. It's a night vision gadget that actually hooks up to the camera itself, and you'd be surprised what you actually see out here in the night sky here. It's just crazy. A lot of things you can't see with the naked eye, and it just blows my mind every time I go out there. So I believe we are coming up on another one. Something that's going to pass by the lens in the moon, and I hope you guys can see this. I hope you guys caught the last, I think there was two now. I actually did a few different shots or a few different videos here. I didn't put up the first three because I could pretty readily identify that they were birds of some sort flying by. Birds typically fly, you know, at a, you know, crossword angle. And with this camera and this telescope, you can see them flying by pretty well. It is full zoom for this particular camera. If I was using my ZWO camera, I could get really close. But I don't actually have the wire connection for it. I think I will get that tomorrow and maybe go out and see if I can actually get some really close-up zooms on it. I mean, I can literally get inside the crater with my ZWO. It's the 294 scope, or 294 camera here. Actually, what I could do is I can see if I can zoom in on it a little bit more. I don't want to lose its position, so I'm going to say remember its position here. And hopefully this will help. Let me see if I can get in a little more. So, yes, to answer your question, I can actually zoom a little bit more here. And I probably can get in a lot more than that here. Let me actually check it out. All right, so now we're getting pretty heavy in there. But even with this zoom, this is not nearly as close as what I can get with my ZWO camera. It's just when I have it hooked up to my computer, the computer is really slow. So what I would like to do is actually get long enough cords to where I can hook the camera up to the computer that's inside the house, and I can just control it remotely from inside my home. I can make sure I'm controlling the telescope and the movement, so I can move it to where I want it to go. And then I can also control the camera and turn it off and on here when I want to. So that's one that just passes by. That's a bird. You can clearly see. But the other ones, they weren't so decisive. The other ones could have potentially have been satellites here. And I'm gonna zoom out so we can actually get a full view, because I think by doing this, we're probably missing a lot of stuff, you guys. So I'm gonna actually bring it back to its full view. So what I start doing with the telescope is just basically going up and down here, so I can make sure I wasn't missing anything that was potentially at the lower part of the moon, and also going back up so I can make sure I wasn't missing anything at the upper part of the moon here, because for me to actually go ahead and catch the full spectrum of the moon here, I would have had to move the telescope back, and that wasn't an option for me at this point here. I think we've been back to the moon plenty times, time and time again. You know, I've even wanted to talk about and this is a little off subject, but the 21 and back, or the not 21, but 20 and back program that you have certain people talking about. And the people that are not paying attention, I mean, that information will just fly right by them because there is some weight to what these people are saying. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, just to kind of give you some background on it, there's a program that prior military servicemen and women are actually saying that they've been a part of. And they only come after the elite of the elite soldiers. I mean, these are Green Berets. These are, Marine Corps veterans. These are hardened vets that have been in the war. I mean, pretty much on their way to writing their own ticket when it actually comes to these military branches here. And they will basically approach these officers and approach these sergeants or whomever and, tell them about a program and let them know that they can't talk to their family, they can't talk to their girlfriends or their wives or anyone, and tell them about this stuff. And they will put them in this program. Now, the thing I find interesting about this is that it's actually a program where you supposedly are traveling to the moon. You can travel to different places within our solar system here. A lot of these soldiers have actually said that they've been to Europa. They've actually experienced different aliens here. They've been on Mars and whatnot. And when they come back, they are about the same age as they left, but it was 20 years after the fact. And I believe that part actually carries some weight, just based on the fact that it was proven that when you're in space, you actually gain a little bit of time back. Now, mind you, that only being seconds, maybe not even a second, because of the short distance that we are in a wider spectrum of like space here. Imagine, how much time you would actually gain back if you say got farther away from Earth here. And I think time, space, and just being able to travel that are relative to each other. And there's just so much information that's being kept from us, and we're paying for it. We're paying for information that they have, through our taxes, and they're being used on these secret black budget projects, but we have no access to them, and that's why I was saying about this whole Storm Area 51. I would love for somebody to actually go out there and get information, but me being a private, a prior service member, I can tell you that would never happen. They would shoot these people down before they even had a chance to get to the gate. So this is just not, the plan is just not a good one. Even if you would, I don't even know if you could call it a plan, realistically, because it turned out as a joke. And, now some people are looking to go through with it. So I just wish Godspeed to those people. And I will tell you, I will not be there, because it's not going to be good. Oh yeah, I believe that, I don't know if we're per se up there, but I do believe that there's some kind of moon base. There's something up there than what they're telling us here. I actually did a video a while back on that too, where I'm talking about a technology that we actually have that allows us to build bases on the moon. It's not really a base, it's a dome. It allows us to build domes on the moon and keep like it's keep us actually safe from the radiation from the sun, and it actually keeps us from the freezing temperatures from in space. And this technology actually keeps us, gives us the ability to store oxygen within this bubble, within this, it's like a foam-like bubble. But go ahead and check it out. I'll actually give you the link here. I'll see if I can post it and find it here. But I did a video on it, and it's about cloaking. Yeah, that's what it was. It was about cloaking UFOs. And then there's a secondary section on the video where it talks about domes on the moon here. And also there was just a recent video where I don't know if it was leaked or if it was just a hoax, or the military put it out and tried to say it was a leak, but there was a picture showing structures on Mars, and the way it was structured, it was so close that you can actually see the buildings, and I think you could even see a vehicle on Mars. Now, I know this is, just hearing that, it sounds ridiculous, and it sounds ridiculous coming out my mouth here, but I mean, it's far-fetched, but the reality of it is it's very possible. It's very possible. I mean, if Elon Musk can shoot a freaking Tesla out in space here, then we are very capable of putting, different buildings and equipment or whatnot, on Mars. It's all possible. It's not out of the realm of possibility. And I think that's what people have such a hard time dealing with, is that we do have these capabilities. Absolutely. So I am going to post, let me see here. I'm going to get this secondary video up here so I can let you guys just kind of see the difference between what I was catching. So I'll go ahead and post the first one here. And we'll check out that one. So this is the other one. And it's really loud, so I'll go and try to turn that down. Sorry about that. So that's what I wanted to show you guys. You can definitely see the difference in those ones here. Clearly see that's a bird right there. And then I'll go ahead and put, so again, that one is clearly a bird. The ones that are a little further away, maybe satellites, I'm thinking. I can't say for sure. But I'm putting up the third footage here, and hopefully we can look at something there. So here's the third footage here. I do believe there's some more action on this one too. So I'm gonna let this one play all the way through. You can hear me in the background talking. I'm getting a little impatient here because I'm literally standing up waiting for something to fly past the moon. And also too, something I noticed, something is flying down from a downward angle from the moon too, and you'll see that, but it's only a shadow of it, and whatever it is, it's freaking humongous here. You know, could have potentially been clouds. This one didn't look like a cloud though. I'm pretty familiar with those when those pop up here. And it was a pretty clear night tonight, so. I'll check it out. And also too, if you're looking out in the darkness, sometimes you'll see these flashes, really small, but these small flashes just out in space. So I don't know if you guys just saw that at the top right hand corner. I'm gonna keep this up, when I go off this live. That way you guys can check it out for yourself and go back, because I know I'm talking and I'm probably distracting you, so I apologize for that. Yeah, I agree. I mean, just by sheer volume of all the UFO sightings, I mean, it's damn near impossible for one of them to not be real. And if one of them are real, that's all we need. All right, I think we're gonna call it here. You just had the missus come in, tell me it's time to hit the hay here. So I am going to sign off, you guys. I'm gonna leave this footage up here so you guys can check it out, be available to view, and you guys let me know what you think. Go across the footage, some of the stuff that's flying past the moon, and you give me your observation on this one and let me know what you think. But with that being said, I appreciate you guys. I really do, man. I know I say that on every video, but I genuinely really do. And it's fun. I enjoy just actually communicating and conversating with like-minded people. So with that being said, I will let you guys go. Enjoy your night. I'm going to try to go to sleep without eating anything. And I will talk to you guys soon. Peace, you guys.
Bye.